I play Lars. When you first see me in the movie, I'm sitting at a table listening to music. I love heavy metal. That's my music of choice. I Lars is I think a special soul who people will um, maybe have a certain idea of him, and then slowly over the film will have a different idea of him. Um, he's a man of much love and maybe a little bit of confusion. When I read the script, I couldn't put it down, and I then talked to Damien, and the way he was approaching each character without judgment, with wanting to fill out the backstory, really make it a character piece. I just got more excited to see a character based thriller. It feels a little old school, and I really wanted to be a part of that. I loved working with Danny. Uh, we were in quarantine these 2 weeks in Auckland in New Zealand, and about on day four, I was like, I should get this guy's number, you know. And I somehow I found it. I think it was maybe through Havana, and we had a FaceTime, and we talked for it's like a 4 to 5 hour FaceTime. I mean, we weren't doing much else in those rooms, but we really got into each other's past and like what uh, understanding each other as actors and as people, which laid the groundwork for us to go to be really vulnerable and emotional within the story. So I really loved. Danny's a very committed actor. Like I there's no speck of untruth in what he does. Like everything has to be truthful, and it's really inspiring as another actor across from him, because I feel like it just makes my game better. I want to be more present. I want to bring more to it, and he cares so much. And so acting with you, Danny, or acting with Danny was really inspiring and exhilarating, and I feel like we made something special together. Yeah, there's so much play involved too, which I know sounds weird how dark the movie gets, but people there was it felt so spontaneous, and because everyone there was no ego on set, and everyone was listening to each other and playing off of each other. It felt like we were throwing a ball around, and everyone would be like, all right, now who hit the ball, and I throw it to you, and we're just having a good time. um I'm not sure why I bring the ball concept, but like there's a sense of it felt so alive every time. It felt like we weren't just saying lines. I felt like we were bringing new things to it. And you have like these older actors who are really established, Dale and Dennis, and they could have come in and had egos, like what Danny said, like, but they had zero. They were really just down to play. And Havana being the movie hinges on her. She had zero ego too. She was just down to really come in and explore with us. And I think that set the tone from early on, so that we could go to these really intense places together and trust each other. So my first time meeting Damien was a callback,
Mm.
and I just tried to do my version of the character, and he popped back on. It was through Zoom. He popped back on. He had his huge, like, playful, like, grin on his face, and I was like, "Oh, this guy loves this." And that joy, he had to wear a mask the whole time, but every once in a while it would come down, and he just had a huge smile on his face, and I felt so supported by him. So that element of play, which is so essential, I think if you're making something dark, you have to have some lightness, or is this going to be all one color? And he brought that to the set. We were playing with the dialogue. He knew what he was making, but he allowed us to have the space to really bring ourselves out with it. And that was from the very beginning. From that first time he popped on that Zoom with that big smile, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a good time making this." And he's making this messed up movie, but he's gonna do it with care. It's gonna be responsible. You have a child actor who's gonna be involved. I wanted to make sure that he was we're not just making a movie about a girl who's trapped in a van in a way that felt exploitative, and he was very aware of that. Always, really conscientious and responsible, and allowed us to all to bring our full selves to the project.
Mhm.
Well, we were in the height of the pandemic, 2021 last year, and to go to this country that had zero infections, uh, I remember getting out of quarantine, and I got really emotional just walking around and seeing strangers, everyone was like, interact in 2019 ways, and I remember we went out into this like bar club, me and Danny and Havana, and people were dancing, and I was like, wow, it was wild. I don't know if you remember that, Danny, but it was a wild, and then to take all that freedom and then to go into this studio that was like a snow globe of hell, and where we're all trapped in this center. It felt like it's so ironic. We were like so free for the first time in a year and a half, but then we were like trapped in our work, and it was like I thought it was that was interesting. And then also the people there are so friendly, and they're so proud of their country too. And it was amazing they showed us around. We went to Rotorua. We went to all these beaches, these communities. We got to a lot of the crew. We'd had some time off, and the crew wanted to show us,
Mm.
some of their lives, and yeah, I've and also one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my entire life. Like I drove the whole island on the northern part, and then I flew to the South Island, and yeah, it's paradise, in many ways, and it's a natural paradise. Anyway, I'm a big fan of New Zealand.